The first time that I had experienced parental estrangement from my children, actually it wasn't the first time. It happened many times by this point. But on one of many occasions that my children had been taken away from me and their mother had stopped them, prevented them from seeing me, despite there being a court order in place, despite my being able to see them. On one of many occasions that this happened, I will never forget. I have one son in particular, and he is to me what Yusuf was to Yaqub alayhi salam. What the son of Prophet Yaqub, Yusuf, was to him, his father Yaqub, this son of mine, Kareem, Habibi. He is to me. He is my most beloved, and this is not a secret, and everybody knows this. Anyone who knows me, who is in my family or is close to me, knows Kareem ahbabtu ilayya. And I first spoke to him after 4 months of being parentally estranged of his mother, having cut contact between me and him. She calls and I pick up the phone and I hear his voice. Assalamu alaikum, Baba. And I go to respond. I go to say wa alaikum assalam, and wallahi my throat chokes up. And I try to speak, and I'm in the lounge at this moment in time, on the computer desk facing the wall, and my wife and children here, my current wife, they are behind me. And I start crying. And I try to disguise the tears through my voice so that he wouldn't hear it. But I don't know how well I disguised it, because of that pain that had built up throughout all of those months of having not been able to speak to my children. It all came out in one go. This video is to you who is going through difficulties with your father right now. You're in your teens, maybe you're in your 20s, and you've fallen out with your father. And you expect him to come to you and apologize for whatever wrongs you feel he has done to you. This video is for you. This message is for you. Let me tell you something. Ya khariya. Your father, when he crossed the road with you, he put his body in the way of traffic just in case he miscalculated and a lorry came or a bike came or a car came, so that that lorry or that bike or that car could hit him first before it hit you. Ya khariya. He wanted to ensure, just in case, maybe he miscalculated, that he would die first so you could live. That there summarizes your father's role in your entire existence. He was willing to die for you on a dime. And now you're here, haughty, arrogant, because you feel that he has wronged you in some type of way. Let me tell you something. Anta wa malika li abik. You and your wealth belong to your father. He owns you, as per the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in another authentic hadith narrated by the Messenger of Allah, and this is what, you know what I love about Islam? Of the many things I love about Islam, is that everyone is put in their place. Islam cracks the whip on everyone. Everyone has a place and you stay there. And you know your place. In another authentic hadith of the Messenger of Allah, the pleasure of the father is the pleasure of Allah. And the displeasure of the father is the displeasure of Allah. You here, whilst you are haughty and arrogant, you refuse to speak to your father for whatever wrongs you feel he's done to you. And in all that while, the displeasure of Allah is upon you. My friend, practicing what Islam? Praying what Salah? Maybe you're wasting your time here. What you should be doing is fixing that breach with your father. Oh, you want him to come to you to apologize to you, do you? The arrogance. the lack of humility. You know, the only time you will truly understand who your father was to you is when you will become a father yourself and expect the same respect from your son towards you. I have news for you, my friend. Kama tudina tudan. As you do will be done to you. The relationship you have with your father right now is the relationship you will have with your son. Do you know what you do right now? You ring your father. You find out where he is. And you go to him. And when you see him, don't you dare kiss his forehead. Wallahi, you have not earned the right to kiss his forehead. You do not have the right to tower above him and over him and kiss his head. You haven't earned that right. Your father is the emperor. He is the king. He is the sultan in the hierarchy of father and son relationship. And you are nothing more than his lowly subject. And when you go to your father and you beg on bended knee for his forgiveness, just like the subject greets the sultan, you will enter into your father's room wherever he is. You will get on bended knee and you will kiss his hand. That is what you will do. And that is how you will greet him. And maybe, if he privileges you with a response of some sort, that you can then begin to heal this breach, that you can then begin to understand the full picture of what happened, that you can finally get the other side of the story, because the only side you have been fed is the side that your mother poured into you. The injection that was in the poison that was injected into your veins through your mother. And may Allah preserve your mother. And indeed, the mother, as the Messenger of Allah mentioned in his authentic hadith, and then the father, no doubt about it. But there are many mothers whom, as a result of their vindictiveness, their hatred they have towards their ex-husband, your father, she has injected poison in your veins, and you will only see this once you have children yourself. So you go to your father on bended knee and you beg him for forgiveness and you kiss his hand, and don't you dare tower over him and attempt to kiss his blessed forehead. You have not earned that right. And you sit there arrogantly. He needs to come to me. He needs to apologize to me. Pooh! Understand something. You don't have no leverage in this discussion. You, lowly subject, you have one father. He has however many children he has. You are replaceable. He is not. You need him and his acceptance and happiness of you to be able to earn the pleasure of Allah. He does not need your acceptance and happiness to earn the pleasure of Allah. Young man, you've got no say in this discussion. You have no leverage. You are a nobody in the matter of leverage in this discussion. So you find your father and you get on bended knee when you enter the room of the Sultan, just as you would expect your own son to do to you. And you kiss his hand and you beg him for forgiveness. And then you ask him to explain his side. And maybe, just maybe, you will understand.